Hello, everybody. How everybody doing today out there? I'm here today, me and Black Beauty. We come back today to talk to you. I said I wasn't going to come back to next week, but I feel that I need to address this situation that's going on YouTube with so many different videos coming up where people are talking about the manager getting stabbed to death at McDonald's. I'm not the one that like to gossip about people business and, you know, telling what people doing on YouTube. I'm not the one to do that. But me as a CCA, a community care advocate and a emotional and spiritual healer, I feel that I have some say so in this situation. My name is Elishaba, and I am the host of this platform. Me and my beautiful princess daughter, Black Beauty. So, what I need to say about this situation, because that's what it is, a situation, okay? It's a situation, okay? And it's an inner children situation. That's what it is. Inner children situation. Okay? Let me help you make some sense of this matter. Okay, I know we have the children. She has 6 kids, the manager. Subscribe, hit the like button on this video, and share the video. And leave me a comment. I know the manager has 6 children. She had 6 children. And as I can look at the news, her oldest daughter was on the news crying, trying to figure out why someone would take her mama's life. Someone that her mama introduced to them and someone that used to work for her mother at the McDonald's. It's the inner children emotional war zone battle. That's what this is. It's an inter children emotional war zone battle. That's what it is. You have both of these adults. They supposed to be adults. The manager that lost her life, she was an adult woman with 6 children. The other young lady, I don't know if she had any children, but she's in jail right now. She's in prison facing spending the rest of her life behind bars. So what is this all about? I mean, you got so many people on YouTube. You had one lady came on YouTube talking about, well, that's what she got, the manager, because she didn't treat the lady right. She didn't treat the girl right because you don't treat people like that. Because the girl got sent home 2 times by the manager and then she came back and she sent her home again. You just don't treat people like that. That's what one individual said on YouTube. But I'm here to let you know as a CCA, as the emotional healer, people are in pain. Whether they are a manager of a McDonald's, whether they are a manager at Costco, whether they are a example, whether they are a CEO of a company, whether they are millionaires, billionaires, poor, broke, hunk, people are in pain. And when I say pain, I'm saying emotional pain. That's what you got right here. You have entered children that was fighting against each other. Two inner children that was fighting and battling against each other. You have the manager. She's not here anymore. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that about her losing her life. You have the manager with her 6 children. Okay? She had a lot of kids. She had a lot of children. I heard the daddy was in prison. So we already can see the situation right there. We can already see the kind of woman that she was. That she was. I mean, she had 6 kids by a man that's incarcerated in prison. Not saying that that's her fault that he was in jail, but I'm just saying the mindset of people in this world today. You have two emotional inner children. Two emotional inner children because, see, the girl that took the manager's life, she was saying how the manager always come to work talking about her business and telling her the co-workers what's going on at her house and this and that, and she would come to work complaining and talking about things. So the manager, obviously, she brought some of her personal life to her job, and that you do not do. That you do not. That shows you that she had some things going on in her life also. She had inner child, an inner child, okay? An inner child. She been through childhood trauma and all the rest of the stuff, just like everybody else have been through it. Just like everybody else have been through it. See, we need to address this in the right way, people. We need to really look at the details of this situation and stop judging and making assumptions about who was wrong or right. I'm going to say, to be honest, if it was displayed out the way that they say it was displayed out, I don't know because I really wasn't there, so I can't make no judgment on what really happened. But I can tell you one thing. It was two inner children that was in the forefront of this situation. It was two inner children, two little girls that has been broken, abused, misused, all kind of stuff had happened to them in their life. It was two little girls was at the forefront of this situation. They look grown, but they not grown. See, the inner children, they in charge. I keep telling y'all that. But you don't want to believe me. Oh, it was just the devil. It was just the devil. She was just crazy. She was just this. She was just that. She just wasn't right. This wasn't. No. It's too broken, abused, battered, confused, rejected two individuals that's supposed to be grown, but they're not grown because their childhood trauma and emotional abuse will not let them be grown. See, that's what it's all. It was two children fighting that day. They've been fighting with each other for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I know the one that took the manager's life, you could just tell by her last name, Muhammad, something ain't wrapped there all the way with her last name, just being that. Okay. But she was saying, I could tell how she's talking about, well, I get, she laid me off. I wasn't, I went to work 2 times and she let me off early and she kept letting me off early. And she called the manager a bully in one of the videos that's surfing on YouTube. She called the manager a bully. I think that was one of the last videos she made before she did what she did. She said she's a bully and this got to stop. So from her just saying that phrase right there, this is talk for kids. Tell my story, mama. Just from her saying that phrase, she have been bullied and misused and abused in her life. See, that was a trigger. What the manager was doing to her, what the manager was doing to her inner child, it was triggering her inner child. And that's what it did. It triggered her inner child because she went all the way back to when she was a little girl and people was bullying her and mistreating her, doing her wrong and all of that. She was rejected. So she felt like the manager of McDonald's was rejecting her also. That's what it is. She felt that rejection. See, that inner child felt that rejection, felt that humiliation, felt that frustration, that anger. That's what the inner child felt. And see, that her inner child got to the moment where she said, I cannot take no more bullying. I cannot take no more rejection. I cannot take no more frustration. I got to handle this now. Or I'm never going to get my life right. See, that's how her inner child started talking to her. And the manager of the McDonald's, she sent her home 2 or 3 times, kept sending her home, then kept sending her home early, it say. Well, I feel her inner child played her out of her life. Her inner child, the McDonald manager, her inner child played her out of her life. See, her inner child was ready to die. She was ready to give up. She played her out of her life. The inner child already knew that the co-worker was a schizophrenic or crazy or got some childhood emotional things going on with her. She already knew that. So her inner child played her out of her life. See, that's how the inner children do. When you keep ignoring them and keep acting like you normal, ain't nothing wrong with you, that's when they go off. They go off and do whatever they want to do, and can't nobody stop them. Can't nobody stop them. Because I can remember the times when I was dealing with my childhood trauma and emotions, how frustrated I used to get, How frustrated, so frustrated that I used to take it out on other people. I used to take it out on other people. I felt like hurting somebody. That's how frustrated I used to get. Well, I just felt like hurting somebody. And that's how frustrated both of them individuals was. The manager, she was frustrated. See, y'all want to paint this pretty. She was frustrated, and the girl that killed her was frustrated. They both was frustrated with their life. Both of them. So yeah, the McDonald manager, she could have handled it in a different way. She could have handled it, well, if you're gonna send somebody home, if you handle it in a mature way. See, she couldn't see. That's why I know it's the inner children. That's how I know it was the inner children in full play with both of them. With both of them. You know why? Because a mature person it's childish. See, it's childish when you look at how it went on and how it played out and all of that. It's just childish. That's how you know it's the inner children battling against each other and with each other. A mature manager, a mature manager, somebody that ain't got no childhood emotions and pains and stuff they've been through trauma, they would have handled that in a whole different way. Okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna send you home early today because because of this, or because of that. Sit the person down and try to explain to them why you are sending them home early. And she kept doing it. She kept doing it for like 2 or 3 times, and she wasn't really giving the other young lady, the girl that took her life, an explanation to why. She was just sending her home early. And see, you can't do that to a person that's been through emotional abuse and pain and trauma. Because, see, they're going to get triggered because that's some of the things that they went through when they was little girls or treated them wrong, wrong without them doing anything to deserve what they was doing to them. So it was just a trigger, and the trigger was so very strong. The trigger was so very strong that she couldn't take it. She couldn't cope. Her inner child told her, "You cannot cope with this. You can't cope. You're not good enough. You got to handle this. You got to handle this. You got to take care of this." So going back to the manager at McDonald's, she could have handled it in a different way. She could have sat down with her and told her, well, I know I've been sitting you a couple of times now, and I know you probably don't understand why I am doing that. But we just short on money, or we short on this, some kind of way. I feel that she should have set that co-worker down and explained to her for her reasons of sending her home, where it did not trigger the inner child in the person that took her life. Because that's actually what happened. She triggered her inner child, and she triggered her inner child so bad that her inner child told her that she was being mistreated for no reason. And she was being bullied. She was being bullied on. The manager was bullying her. So the inner child immediately raised up in the girl that took the manager life and said, "You got to defend yourself." And she went back to the McDonald's with a mask on. She was a whole different person then. She was a whole different person. That person that used to was working at McDonald's, that wasn't her. That was somebody else. That was somebody else. The inner child took completely over. Her possession, whatever she was dealing with, operating with, took completely over her. So y'all want to say all of these things about so many different reasons and this people crazy. Yes, people are crazy. I told you that yesterday. But they crazy because of their childhood trauma. That's why people are crazy. Because of all the things they've been through and they never ever dealt with those issues. And yes, those issues do drive you nuts. And those issues do run you crazy. And those issues do make you treat people the wrong way. Those issues do make you come to work or get around some people and start just blaming your problems and your situations on other people, or taking your anger out and your frustration on other people. I'm not saying that's what the McDonald manager did, but I'm saying it could have been a proper way that she could have handled it in a better way without triggering the inner child of the girl that took her life. See, the manager inner child was already triggered. She was already frustrated, and you know what I'm saying? She probably been working at McDonald's so long in her life. For years. I heard she been working there 6 years or something like that. Long, long. You know, she just this day she just kept like, to me, I ain't gonna say, me personally, if I'm working for someone, y'all tell me what you think. If I'm working for someone and they keep sending me home without no explanation and without no reason why they are sending me home, then yeah, I'm gonna feel like, why is they doing that to me? What's the problem? What's the reason why they keep sending me home? So yes, I mean, if the manager didn't like her or didn't want her to work anymore for her at Magnet, she could have just simply told her, thank you for coming working for us, but right now I'm gonna have to let you go. Because that's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like she kept laying her off because she really didn't want, or sending her to work home because maybe she didn't want to be around her, or I don't really know the reason, but you know, if she didn't want her working for her, she could have just said that or something like that and made it more clear. Made it more clear. So to me, like I say, it's two inner children that was at war with each other in that McDonald's. It was two inner children. Y'all just look at the girl that took the manager life. You got to look at the manager too. What was she doing to cause her life to be taken? See, what was she doing? What did she really do to trigger this young lady, that this young lady wanted to kill her and take her life? What happened? You heard the story. She said she sent her home 2 or 3 times, and you know what I'm saying? Without explanation, the girl felt like she was being bullied. I'm not saying the manager was wrong. I'm just saying the manager to me was wrong in how she handled the situation. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. But when you got two inner children, you don't know how to handle no situation because you just a child. You're a child in a grown person body. You're going to handle things like a child would handle things. And that's exactly how this whole scenario looked to me. Like they both was dealing with their inner children and their childhood trauma and pain and abuse. And this was the outplay of two inner children going off with each other. It happens all the time. I just seen a YouTube video today. I just seen a YouTube video today where the mama strangled, strangled, choked, choked her 18-year-old daughter to death. Black people choked her to death. 18 years old. She on the phone call trying to call 911 and her mama just choking her, choking her, choking her, choking her. She choked her own daughter to death. Right now she's in prison for first degree murder. So can y'all see this? Can you see and understand that you got to deal with your inner children. And if you don't deal with them, they're going to deal with you. And dealing with you means destroying your life any way that they can. Why? Because they already destroyed. They've been destroyed. Ever since they was children, they was destroyed. And no one ever tried to correct them, and no one ever tried to help them, and no one ever tried to talk to them, and no one ever tried to comfort them, and no one ever tried to support them. So yes, yes. So these inner children, I told y'all, nothing is making sense to them now. And they going off. They going off heavy. They starting things with people. They starting stuff with people because they agitated and they frustrated and they want to take their anger and humiliation out on somebody, somebody else other than their own self. They start things. They killing, one another. The mama killing her children. The mama killing her daughter. Yes, these are all inner children. These are all inner children. Can go and put them in prison. Is that going to help them? No. No, that's not going to help an inner child. When you throw an inner child in prison, you ain't doing nothing but making the inner child worse. That's all you're doing, making the inner child worse. They already in prison. They already dead and don't exist. They already lonely and isolated. And you're going to throw them in prison? That's just going to make the inner child more angry, more mad, and more worse. And that's why that son got out of prison and killed his mama and his brother 2 or 3, what was that said, 2 weeks or 3 weeks after he got out of prison. They throw him a party and everything. That party didn't mean nothing to that inner child because he was already destroyed and he was already messed up. You can't make the inner child happy with a party. I already told you that with sex and gym shoes and no, 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 no. The only thing gonna make the inner child happy is that you free your inner child. Freedom. Freedom. Freedom meaning get in contact with them. Get in contact with them and begin to ask them, well, what is wrong? Why am I feeling this way? Why I'm feeling sad? Why I'm feeling, yes. And you're going to hear a little voice come to you. After you do it so long, maybe the little voice will come to you and tell you why. And you go from there. I've been trying to get y'all to leave me a comment so you can come into the circle with me so I can teach you how to connect with your inner child and show you what you got to do to connect with them, to free them. But you think it's a game. That's why you got a dead manager with 6 kids, and you got a young lady that's in jail for first degree murder of the manager of Mcdonald. So it's going to continue. It's going to continue until you free the inner children. I'll talk to y'all later. I just wanted to come on.